Get here? How'd I get here? Not really sure. I just was kind of hopping around. So panspermia is the hypothesis that life exists throughout the universe, distributed by space dust, meteoroids, asteroids, comets, and planetoids, as well as spacecraft carrying unintended contamination by microorganisms, known as directed panspermia. The theory argues that life did not originate on Earth, but instead evolved somewhere else and seeded life as we know it. Whoa. That's pretty crazy. So it's like there's directed and undirected. And the directed is like, we're going to seed this planet with life with our spaceship. Boom, seeded. Or undirected is just happening as a function of giant fungal masses spewing debris into the universe, into the cosmos. Panspermia comes in many forms, such as radiopanspermia, lithopanspermia, and directed panspermia. Regardless of its form, the theories generally propose that microbes able to survive in outer space, such as certain types of bacteria or plant spores, can become trapped in debris ejected into space after collisions between planets and small solar system bodies that harbor life. This debris contains the life forms. The debris containing the life forms is then transported by meteors between bodies in a solar system or even across solar systems within a galaxy. In this way, panspermia studies concentrate not on how life began, but on how methods that may distribute it within the universe. Sorry, one more time. In this way, panspermia studies concentrate not on how life began, but on methods that may distribute it within the universe. This point is often used as a criticism of the theory. So panspermia is considered a fringe theory. Little support against mainstream scientists. Critics argue that it does not answer the question of the origin of life, but merely places it on another celestial body. It is further criticized because it cannot be attested experimentally. Historically, disputes over the merit of this theory centered on whether life is ubiquitous, which I think means present, appearing, and found anywhere. So historically, disputes over the merit of this theory centered on whether life is ubiquitous or emergent throughout the universe. The theory maintains support today, with some work being done to develop mathematical treatments on how life might mitigate naturally throughout the universe. Its long history lends itself to extensive speculation and hoaxes that have arisen from meteoric events. In contrast, pseudopanspermia is the well-supported hypothesis that many of the small organic molecules used for life originated in space and were distributed to planetary surfaces. Let's look at the pic. Debris. Zoom in, we see looks like a prokaryotic once like a prokaryotic bacteria or something, and then we're zooming in on its DNA. So and this is what it says here. Panspermia proposes that organisms such as bacteria, complete with their DNA, could be transported by means such as comets through space, including Earth. So including Earth. Let's see. What else would be cool to see here? History, we got the core requirements, transport vessels. Arrhenius, a chemist. Yeah, definitely chemist. So he proposed, this is interesting, because this is a reputable man, Nobel laureate. In 1903, Arrhenius proposed radiopanspermia, the theory that singular microscopic forms of life can be propagated in space, driven by the radiation pressure from stars. This is the mechanism by which light can exert a force on a matter. Interesting. So it would only hold for very small bacterial spores. Single bacterial spores. Alright, so let's see, counter arguments for, let's just check out this one. So the counter arguments for lithopanspermia, which is, so, look folks, there's a lot to unpack here. So we have several different theories. Radio, we have litho, and we have directed, which by the way has its own Wikipedia. And then we have counter arguments for each one. And then we have hoaxes and speculations. Look, it's a cool idea, but I do agree that it still puts the origin of life somewhere else. It doesn't really solve origin of life, but it's a clever mechanism by which life could perhaps propagate itself throughout the cosmos. And I am curious, so core requirements, so whether it's panspermia or pseudo, which is the building blocks, the amino acids, maybe, or maybe just the base chemicals needed. Look, I'm not going to read this whole thing. We don't have time, or I don't have time right now, but I usher you guys, check it out if you're curious. This is Panspermia. It's not a good article in that it's not like what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. It's not a good one. Usually it's not verified. It has its other thing, like another Wikipedia word. Anyways, looks like a good one. Check it out.